Hello everyone and welcome back to Greenpine Zoo and Gardens, and welcome back to the Himalaya. Yeah, we are going back into the Asian Highlands, and today we can finally add the first animals. And I told you in last week's episode already that we are going to bring in the red pandas. And yeah, that's the task for today. But before we do that, let's have a look at our Asian Highland area that we finished the entrance build for that in last week's episode. And I have to say, it is heavily themed, but I'm very happy with it. And I think it's a perfect fit. I already can see glimpse of the finished area here with all the habitats for the animals that are going to come in the future. We do have the first guests here already as well. I remember asking or wondering if our guests actually would go here, and they already do without any animals here. So they might be very hungry or thirsty, or no, they don't look like they need to go to the toilet as soon as possible, so they might be a little bit thirsty or hungry. Well, hopefully guests will continue to go to this area once the habitat for the red pandas is finished. So, for the habitat of the red pandas that I'm creating here, I once again, and I'm sorry to tell you that in almost every episode, I once again asked ChatGPT how could a habitat for the red pandas look like in Greenpine Zoo and Gardens. I already had a picture in my mind with a habitat, a real life habitat that I absolutely love, and you might have seen that one if you have watched my real-time zoo tours of the zoo in Prague. Because the zoo in Prague has a very nice and unique habitat for the red pandas. I really do love that. It's like some kind of a pit where those animals are in, and it is so... it looks like a magic garden to me. I don't know why. It is very historic looking, very overgrown. Many plants in there, just beautiful. And then I got the vision from ChatGPT, which also had one thing in there that I really liked. So it was the habitat on different levels, and this is what you're seeing right here, what I'm creating right now. The pit here on the sides with the concrete pieces on the bottom is going to be our water pit. I just call it like that. So we're going to have water in there to prevent the animals from escaping their habitat. Then we are having a lower level for the animals, and then there's the upper level for the animals, and I really love the idea of that. So the habitat on the picture was very square. I didn't want to have a square habitat, I wanted to have it round shaped, because I could do rotation and copying once again, which I truly love. But that was not the reason. I just thought it might look prettier when we are going to do it round shaped, and I also wanted to have mountains in the backdrop. So we're going to have it on the side where we do have all the shops. So therefore we have the background with the mountains, so the mountains as a barrier on the one side, and the water as a barrier on the other side. You're going to see that in a few minutes once we placed the habitat. So I was what you have seen right now, why I moved it close to the guests was I wanted to see the height of the barrier, so that actually not just adults could see into the habitat but also the children, so that the barrier was on a level that children could also easily see into the habitat without having the wall right in front of their eyes, or the little fence pieces that I put on top of it. So that was the reason therefore. So right now we are covering the backside of the habitat. As I told you, I wanted to have a mountainous background in there, which we are going to cover with lots of rocks in a few minutes as well. And yeah, it was a little bit tricky because of the terrain work. You can't work so specifically with the terrain that you have it right on the same, that you have it on the same level. You can't have sharp edges with the terrain. That's what I wanted to say. So that makes it a little bit difficult when you do something like this, because you always have some parts of the terrain sticking through the walls and you don't want to have that. So therefore I was using those not concrete pieces, what was the word again? Limestone pieces, and put it around the habitat so that we could cover up a little bit of the gaps that we are going to have once we lower the terrain on the parts that we need to do, so that we can have this nice water mode. I think you call it water mode or wet mode. I mean, there's a dry mode, so there has to be a wet mode, or doesn't it? Lisa, I hope you can help me and tell me what it is called in English, so, because, yeah, I'm totally lost. Okay, so terrain work took me quite a while, that's why I cut some parts out of it, just covering up all the bits. So don't worry that we don't have, I just circled it around, so I don't have to tell you why you don't have to worry. I already fixed that. We are also going to have a building for the red pandas on the left side, where they can seek shelter and where our keepers can go into the habitat. Because of the mode, they couldn't actually go into the habitat and take care of our animals, so I had to come up with an idea, and that was to have a building on the other side that connects the gap with the water with the actual habitat. Yeah, terrain work. Yeah, as I said, it was a little bit difficult and I had to cut out a lot of it because, yeah, it took so much time. But here we are. I was trying to cover those little gaps with the rocks, with the mossy rocks, because I thought with the green it would match better with the grass than if I did something with the regular rocks or with any other pieces. I'm not too happy with it, I have to say, because the greens are too different. But once we have all the plants and the rocks in there, it doesn't look that much different anymore. But still, yeah, I don't know. I don't have any other ideas what I could do with that. But yeah, it is what it is. And in the end, as I said, once the plants are all in, it looks pretty fine. So the next part is putting in the walls for the building for our animals. I wanted to have backstage stuff in there as well, so the idea in the beginning was that you would have a path leading into the building and then having some kind of a backstage area, and then the actual gate into the habitat, into the indoor enclosures for the animals. But that didn't work, unfortunately, because for whatever reason I couldn't place the habitat gates on the I just call it on the first floor of our habitat. It didn't work. I could put it on top of the habitat, so the inner circle, that wasn't a problem, but the outer circle, I couldn't do that. For whatever reason, I just don't know. I tried anything, but it didn't work, so I had to put in the gate right here next to the visitors part. Not what I wanted initially, but yeah, I had to deal with it. I made the best out of it, and I thought, well, it's the red pandas. They are not too dangerous. They cannot kill our keepers, so we don't have to be that careful with them. So just have a door into the indoor habitat, and if the keepers walk in there and there might be a red panda in there, it will work out pretty fine for both of them. So yeah, I just went with it. But we're going to do something on the indoor later on, because I thought, yeah, we have to do that. We do that all the time here in Greenpine Zoo and Gardens, and we have to do that for the red pandas as well. So I cut lots of parts of this out, because you know how I decorated the buildings when you've seen the last few episodes, when I did the entrance area for Himalaya. So therefore, yeah, just creating that building similar to the entrance buildings, so that it matches and that we have this kind of continuing theme. That's what I wanted to say. Yeah, I was looking for a different word, but no mind, never mind. Cohesiveness. Yeah, that was what I wanted to say. Okay, guys, but before we get into the next chapter here in the video, I just wanted to remind you to hit the like button for this video, and to subscribe to my channel if you haven't done that already. You could also join the Keeper Crew, our channel memberships, for just $1.99 a month, so you get access to the videos early and to some special events that are going to take place on this channel very soon. And yeah, I also need your help, guys, because we are going to continue here in Greenpine Zoo and Gardens in the Himalaya area. We have, by the end of the video, the habitat for the red pandas. But what should we build next? What animal is going to come next? Should we build for the snow leopards? Or should we build a big habitat, a big mountainous habitat, which we are also going to have for the snow leopards as well, but a big mountainous habitat for the takin and the makor? So I already do have plans for both of the habitats, but I just wanted to ask you guys what you want to see first. Snow leopards or hoofed animals? Just let me know in the comment section, and yeah, I will get into that with next week's episode. So, as you can see right now, I'm creating the indoor section for the animals. I just wanted to have 2 boxes in here for the animals, so that you could actually separate the male and the female, especially when you have young animals in here, babies, and you want to separate them from the dad, so that the mom can enjoy the habitat with the youngsters for themselves. So therefore I thought it would be very useful if you have 2 separate habitats. I also was trying to build something different, and I did remember that we got some pieces for the, I think it was the Americas DLC, which I showcased and said that they might be very useful for some things, and I never used them. So here we are, using these round-shaped metal things here for creating some doors. And I don't know how realistic it is, but technically this would work. I'm pretty sure it would. And if you don't think so, you have to prove it. Yeah, just like that. And we also had to disconnect some of the pieces with the building so that we have actual movement for the doors afterwards. That is something that I also do like to do, so that you could pretend that you could open the doors from time to time and separate the animals. You actually could if you would take your time and really play the game and not just creating stuff. And I really do love to build with those Indonesian building pieces. They are so beautiful, and I love the texture of the wood. So one more on the other side. Forgot the pillar. Oh, and with those small, tiny, round-shaped metal beams, it is so hard to place them, because with the gizmo, with these arrows here, they are covering the whole thing completely, so you don't see where you move it. You just have to suggest where it might be and just hope for the best that it is in the right place. Yeah, that's really awful. And I wish those arrows were at least a little bit see-through or whatever, so yeah, that you could actually work a little bit better with those pieces. So the building is almost finished. I just had to make this here a little bit smaller because I took the same door that we have in the inside for the outside here. And the gate on the outside was a little bit too big, so the door would not have been able to close completely. Just some finishing touches on the building, and then we can go into the actual habitat creation. Yeah, as I said, lots of rock work going on in here. Oh guys, and I did notice that for some of my videos, or for the videos in the future, at least the last two that I released, there's the option that you can choose the audio in a different language. So if you don't understand my English, you can watch the video in Japanese, in German, in Spanish, in Polish, and whatever language not whatever language you want, but there's many different languages you can choose from. So I'm just curious if some of you guys already use that. So because in the past, some of you guys were complaining that, or were wishing that I would do my German videos also in English language, so that you could actually watch them or understand what I was saying. And yeah, you now do have the option to watch those videos in English as well. Or if you don't understand English, you can watch the videos in German now. So yeah, let me know in the comments as well if you guys were using that feature, what you think about that, if you find it useful, if you find it weird, if it is funny or whatever. Because I thought it might have been a great option for some of you guys, as I said, that don't understand the one or the other language, and just to enjoy the videos a little bit better. But yeah, let me know what you guys think of that. And I do know that sometimes the translation is not that great and it doesn't make too much sense, but yeah, so am I. Okay, lots of rock work. What you've seen a few seconds ago with the wall pieces that I covered the whole area, I wanted to have a really flat wall on the back side, so not too much rocks looking out of the wall, so that we do have this flat background, and therefore I built it like that. So the next thing is building a few huts for our animals, which I always see when you have those habitats for red pandas. So they do always have those tiny huts where they can hide in there when they are not hiding within the highest tree in the habitat. So yeah, I wanted to have something like this in here as well. Which by the end I thought are pretty big, but well, better too big and they can use it before you build it too small and they are not even able to get into that, so yeah. By the way, I didn't check if the animals could actually go in there. Maybe I should do that. Well, at least they look pretty, so that's a win. So little boxes, little roofs on top. And then we can go into the decoration for the habitat. And I have to say, this might be the most beautiful habitat that I ever did for the red pandas. And maybe also one of the most beautiful habitats that I've done so far here in Greenpine. Because I really do like it. I really enjoy this habitat. Yeah, even though I didn't plan completely to build it like this. And yeah, I have to confide something in you, because I thought that this habitat might be a little bit too small. And I don't know if it is too small because, you know, because of the honey badgers, I just deselected animal welfare. So yeah, we won't have any animals complaining, no matter how big or how small the habitat is. Every animal is going to be 100% satisfied, even if they are not. So yeah, I thought this was too small, so I did cut out a big part of the episode where I tried to create a second habitat with an overpass for the animals, where they could actually walk from one side of the habitat to the other side of the habitat across the visitor's path. But then I thought, no, I just don't want to have something like this once again. We already did that for the lion-tailed macaque in the rhino house. I don't want to have this right now once again. We definitely might be going back into that for a different animal at some point at the zoo, but not here, not now. So yeah, so I decided this habitat is going to be big enough, and as we are also trying to be very realistic, or at least somewhat realistic when it comes to zoo habitats here in Greenpine Zoo and Gardens, I thought, yeah, we have to go with it. We just have to go with it. And if you see the animals in the end, I think the habitat might be big enough for them. They also do have a big indoor area, which is not that beautiful, but space-wise they do have lots of space in there as well. So once again, what was a little bit of a bummer for me was that I can't use those dead trees for the animals to climb on them. And I just don't understand it, because those dead trees are versions of the trees that we could actually put into the habitat for the animals to climb on them. So once they are dead trees, it's not possible for the animals anymore. This just doesn't make sense, because they were so perfect. They would have been so perfect to create some climbing structures for the animals, but unfortunately I couldn't use them because the animals would not be able to climb on them. Yeah, I know right now when I'm saying this, some of you guys asked me in the building for, I think it was for the Amo leopard, for gentlemen, if it would not be possible to put those climbing frames into a dead tree, so to trick the system a little bit and that the animals actually could climb on the dead trees. I didn't try that yet. I should have, I could have, but unfortunately I didn't. Yeah, but nevertheless, it's a bummer that this doesn't work. So these dead trees that we do have in here are the only ones that are actually climbable. So therefore I was using them. But also I think those two dead trees are the two ugliest of all the dead trees that we do have in the game. So I'm not quite happy with them, but yeah, on the other hand, here we are. Yeah, this is going to move because I didn't want to have it right here in front of the whole build. I also thought if it was too much in the background, you were not able to see it anymore because of the climbing structures in front of the habitat, and I wasn't too happy with the placement, but in the end, yeah, everything looks fine and very natural, and I'm very much okay with that. So some rope bridges, some platforms, and then we're going into planting and rock work. Yeah, and once again, I'm very curious what you guys want to see next. Snow leopards or hoofed animals. I'm excited for both of them because I think this area is going to be so special and so beautiful. I have so many plans already in my head, so many visuals. Yeah, I'm very excited to create all of this. And also for the animals, because some of them are so beautiful. When I think about the takin, I just love them. They are such a beautiful model, and also the makor, also such a beautiful and nice animal. Okay, the snow leopard, base game animal, weird climbing and jumping animation at times. But yeah, still, I want to have them in here. And I'm also looking forward to the Przewalski horses and the Bactrian camels. some dead trees in here, and as I said, no worries, the animals won't climb on them. So they can't climb on them and escape the habitat in the end. And there's what I mean. So these trees, the living ones, no problem for the animals to climb on them. But once they are dead, I can't climb on this. Weird. So just coloring the ground a little bit. Not too much because, yeah, it would look a little bit weird with the mossy rocks when we would have soil all around it. So therefore we could have used the normal rocks without the moss. But with all the bison grass in there, it doesn't look that weird anymore. Or what do you think, guys? So just helping the animals climb in there. Some bedding on the inside. And then we are almost done with everything, I think. We could buy the animals and get them into the habitat. Yeah, and we also have to make our sign for the animals, because there's not going to be lions in there. Never. My favorite bush. Just to have some accents here. Yeah, and then we are good to go. The animals can finally move in there. And what do you guys think about this habitat? I think it is very beautiful, and I think it looks pretty realistic. I really love this. Yeah, and with that being said, we are also at the end of today's video. I hope you guys did enjoy it. If you did so, and you didn't do it right beforehand, just leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe to my channel, hype the video, do whatever you can and want to do to support my channel. I appreciate it very much. Have a great week, take care, stay healthy, and tune in next week when we are going to continue to build in Greenpine Zoo and Gardens and build for the next animals in the Himalayan area.